Download. Welcome to Dynamite Download, your source for positive of all elite. Big
We're here. What's up, everyone?
Right. That was
Just
too sweet.
We got to play that again. We got to play that again at the end of the show when everyone is chimed in. But that was an awesome intro. What's up, everyone? Dynamite Download episode 206. I am Donin the Black, and this is a new era for SPD. The white shades are gone, and we are back. Yep. We are on to the black shades. This is the new World Order NWO phase of SPD. So
looks good, Chico.
No more SPD babyface. It is time for the dark side of SPD. So here we go. Buckle up for this one.
Buckle.
You know what? It'd be even better if it was a better heel turn if I was leading the way of the draft season 6. But it's not looking so hot. But I should have waited till I was in first place for a heel turn on that one. But man, I guess real quick, let's show the standings really quick. While we'll show them again near the end of the show, but I mean, it's not looking so hot for us here at DD.
Yeah, I think somebody's pretty much run away with it at this point.
The snake, you got to get a snake going across.
And here we go.
Man, fantasy draft season 6. Steven is sprinting away with the lead at the top of the pack there. Only have 16 more days, so not much wrestling left for this one. But I mean, you throw in the pay-per-view, you throw in the bingo card. I mean, there's a chance for you and I, Mind Runner, but it's a long shot. So you're telling me there's a chance, but I doubt
there's a chance, exactly. Like more like 1 in a million.
Right.
I can't even be happy that I'm ahead of you now, because it's like I'm so like, you look over in the distance and you see the rattlesnake himself, Steven.
Right.
The snake. Look at him. Look at his new logo right there.
We need a snake to go across the screen.
Yep. We need
like Tekla had the spider dropping randomly. Well, I randomly have every time he comments, a little snake come through the screen.
I can't believe it, dude. Well scouted. I mean, if you look at the numbers on our spreadsheet, Kyle Fletcher has had 10 victories in just the last few months. Like, Kyle's killing it for him. He really looked at it. And you think about it too, like it is always kind of a gamble. What would have happened if Colton Gunn didn't get injured? Would they be in a feud with the Hurt Syndicate? Would they be getting some wins? What would have happened if this person didn't go this way? And you can't help when someone's not getting wins. Who would have thought Mercedes Moné would actually be defending her title and getting wins on AEW? Brent and FTD, even though they're at the other end of the thing, they've been back and forth at 22 points. They're at 22 points apiece, battling it out. Bobby 24. If you cover up the snake's name, it is a very close game.
It is.
If it wasn't for the toxic snake, the venomous viper, the Steven the brain, we call him the brain, but now I think he's the snake. I think he's got an inside with TK or something, man. Because dang, but yeah, 52 points, highly respectable. This. I will say this has been fun. I think I'm kind of ready for All Out. Kind of ready to reshuffle the board. I got some new prospects, and leave it to the last couple weeks before we're done with this for some of our favorites to return. Wardlow, Rio,
right,
a bunch of people. So it's who knows who else might return in the next couple weeks.
Yeah, man. This is always a fun time, and I always love the draft. So we were just talking off air. As soon after All Out that week, following that week, we're going to do our next draft, season 7, and then that'll go through World's End. And we were talking off air or World's End. Yeah, was it World's End? No, Wrestle Dream. I guess we'll talk about that when the Mercedes part comes up. But I don't know if you saw, but Athena is at $9.99 today. Tomorrow is 1,000 days as the ROH Women's World Champion.
And isn't today ROH? Isn't today?
Today is ROH, yeah.
Wouldn't that be funny if today Athena loses the belt?
I know, one short.
one short.
I don't even know if she's wrestling on tonight's show or not.
I think Nyla Rose tweeted that. She said, "What would be a shame if she lost on Thursday?" And of course Serpentico goes, "No, don't ruin it, don't jinx it." I love that feud. But wow.
Let's dive into last night, man. Or do you want, first and foremost, our thoughts, get well wishes to Rebel or Reba. Yeah. Some may say she's been posting about some treatment she's been getting. Yeah. So get well wishes to her. Definitely. She was always been fun to watch on TV and AEW. So hopefully she's back stronger than ever and we get to her return sometime in the near future after she gets all healthy.
This is what happens when you hang out with a dentist. Just saying. No, that's unfair. But it's cool. And I think it's kind of cool that she's still supporting Dynamite. Here she is in the hospital. She's got Dynamite on the TV, and she's going through it. So I'd actually love to see her come back, and
for sure,
and have her see what she can do without being involved with DMD. See what even whether she wrestles ever again or not, or if she maybe could be some kind of manager. I think that would be pretty cool.
She could get paired up with so many different people. I mean, her and Harley Cameron would be obnoxiously funny together, I'm sure. Not necessarily if she has to wrestle or not, but she could also be someone's just, she played that quote unquote stooge role so good with the DMD.
Yeah. She definitely fit that role. I think that was fantastic. But what a night. Oh, what a night. Yeah. I was going to say, by the way, Brent, I wouldn't be surprised if Brent is not at the Pittsburgh show. He says, I've never been there when DMD was not. He wonders, is she going to show up? Is the DMD coming back?
You have All Out on September 20th, and then you have the first show after All Out is in Pittsburgh, or some may call Britsburg. So if she doesn't make an appearance at All Out, then she could make an appearance both for the world title scene. Toni Storm, as we'll talk about, she's set an open challenge kind of. I could see DMD returning at All Out and then kind of having a homecoming in Britsburg. That would be pretty sweet. I would love to see that. But let's focus on last night. It was a heel show sandwich. You start off with that's why SPD is turning heel. He's got the all black on, the black shades. But you kick off the show with a heel promo or interruption from Gabe Kidd. You kick off the show with a heel victory, and then you end the show with a heel victory and a heel beatdown. So it's like the heel sandwich. But I love that.
Some delicious baby face meat, though.
Yes, there is. I love a good baby face meat. But I was really impressed with Gabe Kidd's presentation. I did like the fact that he did interrupt the the commentator team doing the card rundown and all that. And, you know, as they said last week, he was looking for a fight. And just this way to kick off the show was pretty fun, like pretty electric. And it was just like, whoa, you didn't expect this to come out literally 100 miles an hour. And then someone get dragged in a body bag behind a pickup truck as well. And then they show the commentators. It's almost like, what the hell just happened?
What a very ECW way to start the show, though, right?
For sure.
Would you know?
I don't know if they've ever ECW ever dragged anyone behind a pickup truck in a body bag, but that's new level stuff right there.
And of course, you know, not to be remiss without Darby's, you know, thumbtack skateboard that he landed on, that he dropped on the bare back of. I got to give credit. You know, he's not my top performer tonight, but I got to give kudos to Wheeler Yuta for.
F you, Yuta. Did mine freeze or am I frozen?
All right, so I don't know if I'm still here or not. Am I still here?
You're there, but you're frozen, and I don't see SPD.
Oh, I think
there
SPD is here. There we go.
I'm back. Thank you for the fact we got our producer in the other room, FTD. I didn't know if you were frozen or I was frozen, so I just hit a quick little refresh. The last thing, it was the Death Riders taking over my feed because you were giving props to Yuta. And I was like, I started the FU Yuta chant, and then I froze or something.
Oh, yeah. I think there's shenanigans going on. But I was just going to say, I got to give props to Wheeler Yuta. I wouldn't say he's a stooge in the Brandon Cutler state, like not in that aspect, but he's playing his role very well, and there really is a good story with him now. And, you know, he is kind of smirking when he's trying to get Statlander over.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's going to play a role in the whole, you know, what's going to happen with Daniel Garcia, perhaps.
Mm-hmm.
But I got to give props to him. And he did take the skateboard to the back and didn't flinch. And he's embracing the FU Yuta chance. I mean, they weren't going FU Gabe Kidd. He's getting legit heat, and that's what you want. And so
big time heat.
Yeah. I got to give props to him. And of course, Gabe Kidd, you know, be careful what you wish for. Be careful what you ask for, dude, because then you get it.
I mean, Yuta is anything but a stooge by any means. Yes, he takes a lot of pins, but he's also won some matches for the Death Riders. He has proven, I mean, he's in that faction for a reason. Yuta has proven himself time and time again how great of a wrestler he is. And even if he is getting that heat, that's the heat that you want. It's not go away heat. It's like true heat as a heel and really getting that heelness. And so I enjoy it. And I think he's doing some great work as well.
Listen to this. Now, maybe we need to play it again because we got more people here. But in case you haven't noticed, we have an alternate opening to the show, and it's in regards to SPD's new attitude. So here's the new attitude from SPD. Notice the new glasses.
Dynamite Download.
Welcome to Dynamite Download, your source for positive of all elite.
Big
Hola, Chico.
Hey, yo.
Hey, yo.
That's right.
That game was just so perfect. So, yeah, in case you haven't been following along, it's heel SBD. SB
No
heel.
more white shades. It is the dark side. We're here for the dark side. I wish there was a way to filter my camera to black and white.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Yo, Chico. All right, let's talk about Windsor. Can we talk about
Anything
Windsor?
but black and white is Alex Windsor versus Mercedes Moné kicking off the show. And speaking of NWO, if you saw Mercedes knee pads, there's very NWO-esque style script and design for sure. And Brent saying Windsor was his wrestler of the night, and that is an excellent pick. And honestly, I think I said it last week or the week before, like she has quickly really made an impression on AEW in general. Like as her debut at All In, which we were there for. Now it's 2 months ago since we're in September, but Windsor has been awesome in the ring, and I think she's been presented very, very well and really kicking ass as of late. And I think she is a future champ, and I hope she's a future champ. And I just love the presentation and everything about her, and I really enjoyed this match. It was a banger opening match. Both ladies brought down the house for sure, and I love the way this kicked off the show and had almost pretty much a blank slate at the time to tell the story. But I texted you mine when Justin Roberts was like 10 minutes remaining. I'm like, here comes the time limit draw. I'm like, oh shoot. But maybe they were, as you said, as we always say, AEW is listening, because you were like, one of my gripes is announce the times and not do a time limit draw. What did they do? They did it.
They did. By the way, we have a super chat, and we've got to go with it. So here is, we're getting back to the original. Yep, I'll get it too. Ready? Here we go.
Super Chat Party!
Super Chat Party! Well, we definitely got to talk about those guys. But if it wasn't,
hold on, mine. You ready?
Yeah. Wait.
There we go.
Woo, that's awesome. Thank you, BR.
Thank you so much, bud. It's great to see you. Great to have you back in.
I gotta tell you though, if it was not for the main event on this show, Alex Windsor would have been my top performer, possibly Mercedes Moné. I gotta say, I've said this before. It really was clear last night. FTD agreed with me on this one. Alex Windsor is reminding me of 2021 Thunder Rosa. Like, she's got that intensity, that fighting style. She's really impressing me. She dominated this match. But again, just like certain people in a certain fantasy draft, those snakes, they get that little roll up. They escape defeat, like Mercedes did last night. And I do think though it's very smart, especially if you've invested heavily in Mercedes Moné. It's very smart to really have her wrestle the best in AEW. The women's division is at Mercedes. I feel like this is the best version of her that she's ever been. She's better than Sasha Banks. She's even better than when she started in AEW. I think she has really won me over with a lot of the subtleties that she does, the character that she's playing up, the way she is in the ring, how she is a villain. And I feel like I'm really enjoying this, and it's making people want to know who's going to be the one to take that TBS title. Windsor has solidified herself as my top 5 ladies in AEW right now.
Wow.
And that says a lot considering the roster now. I think I hate, this is crazy for me to think this. This is the best the AEW women's division has ever been, and none of the first 6 champions are even involved in anything. And that says a lot, and that's no disrespect to them. It's just like, that just shows you that even with the caliber they have now, it's still a tremendous roster. And Windsor has been such a great, we may have lost Ospreay for a while, but we got Windsor, totally different wrestling style, but she has really injected some great life into the women's division. And I just thought, and the match was great. For it to win with this small package roll up was just that's a true villain. Like, look at this photo right here. She's laughing. I mean, I was really hoping. I actually thought, are they going to drop the belt to Windsor tonight? They
I
really
thought so
got
too.
me. They really got me with this one, and I didn't think. And going in, I was like, "There's no way." But the match was so good, and it was such a great back and forth. It was what I love about AEW in general that they do. One of the many things, but especially with these matches, and specifically with Mercedes. Even though Mercedes won, and everybody rolls their eyes, "Oh, belt collector," whatever. I think it's a great gimmick. It worked for Kenny, and
It's so good.
Mercedes is steering into it. Alex Windsor did not walk away looking bad. Alex Windsor still walked away looking like a badass that got not even really cheated, but just like a badass that she took the L but still looked great. And then they tried to do the handshake, and Mercedes flipped her off. Windsor went for the fight. Mercedes then turned on her, was getting the advantage, beating her up, getting the submission. And then the music was played that made us all pop, because here's what happens. WWE, I'm talking to you, WWE, and I'm talking to you, the owners, whatever that parent company is, UFC.com.org or something, whatever it is. You guys are effing around with the AEW. You're trying to F around with Tony Khan. You're trying to book, these lame pay-per-views at the same time as all that. Here's the thing. Us sickos, I'm not going to bash WWE, the wrestlers and the fans, because I understand. There's stuff about WWE I do like. I'm not a regular watcher anymore, but I'm an AEW sicko. I don't hate on people that do like WWE, but here's a true fact. We're going to watch the AEW pay-per-view no matter what. We're going to watch it. So you can keep
even if it was at midnight.
Exactly. But here's the thing. You've been effing around with Tony Khan. You had to bring big guns. You had to bring out the one wrestler that Triple H fears more than any other wrestler. Oh, Rio.
One of your favorites, that's for sure. I did not see this coming, and I'm loving it. I love, man, two brutal moves on Mercedes Moné that were like, wow. And it was a great pop, great return. And it's, as you just said, how deep the division is, how great the division is right now. And the likes of, other than last night, Rio has not been in. Sheeta's not been in. Obviously, Thunder, DMD. We're missing a lot of the important pieces of the puzzle, but there's so many pieces of the puzzle that have been, uplifting and supportive and carrying the division in such a good way. And, to go back really quick on about Mercedes Moné, like she is doing such great stuff every single week and month. She's getting better and better and better. And I'm here for everything that she's doing. She's dishing out. She's putting this TBS title on the map even more so than anyone, in my opinion. I know we're getting close to that number one reign that I think maybe TK wants to take, and that exact day to tie it and or beat it, my math might have been off, is at Wrestle Dream next month in October. So could that be the time where we get a title change? I mean, I was looking up, Mercedes has obviously been a fantastic champ, but as you said too, like a fighting champ, which is so important to me, is to have a fighting champ. She's beaten the likes of Willow, Sky Blues, Stephanie Vacour, Sheeta, Nyla Rose, DMD, Sheeta again, obviously the Statlander feuds that she's had before that as well. Harley Cameron Down Under. Let's see what else. Billy Starks. Who else has she beaten? Julia Hart. Athena obviously she beat her in the tournament. Jamie Hayter she's beaten. So like there's so many.
But darling,
there's so many other ones.
There's one name that you can't put on that list. There's one name that does not be among those that she has collected a belt from. And that is the whore you all adore, the tramp that's still the champ, the slut you cannot rebut, Tony effing Storm.
So this was interesting. What is your take on? I'm curious that you guys in the chat and you, Minor, what is your take on this promo? Is it kind of like, hey, who wants to step up? I need a challenger in a sense.
I think it's exactly that. I don't want to. I think, Occam's razor here. I wonder if they're kind of like, well, we don't really have anybody for Toni Storm to fight. I almost feel like sometimes Tony Khan might do this where you do a promo like this and then just sit back and watch what the social media says. Watch and see who's trends. Like if have Toni Storm cut a promo and then sit back and see who the fans say. Do the fans say, we're going to be in Pittsburgh soon. Ooh, what if that one shows up? Or, maybe they might do something like, we're going to be in Toronto. Are we going to bring in a new hire that's going to surprise everything? I think we're a little too close to All Out to really build up a formidable challenger. So I'm not sure how they're going to break this down without it feeling like a retread. Like, you can't do. Are you going to do Megan Bain again? Are you going to bring are you going to somehow have Willow get a shot, or are you going to have or next week? Are you going to just suddenly have a fatal 4-way with the top 4 women and one of them get the title shot with Toni Storm? I don't know what direction that they're going. It would be compelling that they could set it up. I mean, AEW is notorious for wait until the week before and then suddenly all of a sudden getting everybody hyped for the pay-per-view in the last couple weeks.
Right.
I think I like this.
I'm looking up, doing some recon here.
Now, just real quick, this is some WWE knowledge. This is just because I do watch, especially I pay attention to the women's division specifically.
Yeah.
What Natalya Neidhart and WWE has been, I feel like she's well respected. I don't think she ever got the kudos that she deserves. She's a excellent wrestler and mentor in the locker room.
Mm-hmm.
But she has this other character that goes on the indies called Natty Neidhart. It's almost like Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. Natalya is on WWE and is this character, and she takes the L a lot. Natty Neidhart's a badass, has beaten the crap out of Shayna Baszler, Masha Slamovich. She has beaten a bunch of people. So this Natty Neidhart, I'd love to see her pop on sometime, and I'd love to see that. Heck, I'd love to see Masha. There's a lot of female wrestlers that could step up, but I'm thinking from a storytelling point, I don't know who they could put against Toni Storm and make it a main event level pay-per-view match as far as story. Now, you could put her with anybody in the division from a performance standpoint. Heck, you could put Penelope Ford against her and it would be a great match. It's going to be that kind of thing. But it's from a storyline, I don't know what they could do. Now, bring in Bozilla in.
I got a couple of theories or a couple of things
yeah.
Unfortunately, I don't really, it could work for sure, but you have, I would love to see a one-on-one match with Toni Storm and Thekla, even though they're hinting for the Jamie Hayter feud there. However, you could do a fatal 4-way at All Out, and if I don't want this to happen, but I could see it happen, her lose the belt in the fatal 4-way to Thekla. So it could be Thekla, Toni Storm, Jamie Hayter in there, and then plus one other one, and then Jamie Hayter could feud with Thekla, who's the current champ, and then dethrone Thekla to become the champ instead of Jamie Hayter taking it from Toni Storm. If you want to keep Jamie Hayter a babyface and whatnot, but I don't know. I feel like you could do a 4-way. Obviously we'll see maybe more of it pan out after Saturday because of the 8-woman tag team match, the All-Star 8-woman tag team match. Maybe there's going to be some kind of challenger stepping up there within that. So you could have someone with the Triangle of Madness challenge her, or maybe she'll be featured in a multi-person match at All Out as well, a tag match.
I could, Brent saying in the chat, Hayter. I like you said, Hayter's kind of focused on Thekla and all of them, and I think that's going to be the thing. I think what would be kind of cool, since we're so close to All Out, is have some kind of women's gauntlet or have not really not the Casino Gauntlet, because that we just did that and all in, but have maybe a battle royal or have some kind of big match where Tony Storm is ringside on commentary.
Yeah, I like that.
And then she just comments on who's going to be the big challenger, and whoever wins gets her at a later date, not necessarily a contract, but they get that coming soon. And then you could bring in somebody like a Bozilla, or you could bring Sheeta back, and boom, now she's in a story. Or you could have Jamie Hayter involved, gets the blow off match. Heck, you could even have Queen Aminata. It doesn't have to be a heel versus babyface. You could have two baby faces go at it, but yeah, I'm not entirely sure how they're going to do this, but regardless, Toni Storm's going to make magic when she crosses those legs and she does the rebutting that she does. God doesn't judge. That's her job.
Yeah, I'm curious of where they're going to go, and that's good because I mean, like you said, here we go, Stephen, 4-way: Tony, Megan, Statlander, Queen Aminata. Mm-hmm. Maybe throw in another heel there or swap someone out, but I could see a 4-way for sure, just to try to get more ladies featured on the card. Tag team champs Brodito, which are set to face Harley Cameron and Statlander at All Out. So they're going to be a tag team title match for those titles at All Out between those two teams. But before they get there, they had to go through Claudio and Wheeler. Back to Wheeler. We talked at the top of our show how impressed we are of him, and Claudio. But man, this team of Brodito, man, every single week is just impressing me more and more and more. And I'm just so excited to see them continue their reign and go up against some more tag teams, such as maybe I would love to see a rematch of the Young Bucks. I would love to see them even like against Jet Speed, even though it's babyface versus babyface, but still you have the respect in the ring, the honor code or whatever you want. But when Moxley came out and took out Brody, I was like, oh shoot. And then you got that super late kick out for Brodito to continue his badass run. But I mean, week in and week out, we praise Bandito, excuse me. Week in and week out, we praise Bandito, and just, man, he just puts on clinics every single week. He's so impressive every single time. Everything he does, just the total package. I love his presentation. I love his in-ring stuff, his innovative offense. Just, there's a reason why there's 2 belts on this guy, and really, really impressive stuff out of him tonight and every single night that we get to see him. And of course, on the Ring of Honor match versus Hechicero, incredible. This guy is just
watch
incredible.
That match. If you have never watched a Ring of Honor match in your lifetime, it's free on the freaking YouTube. Go, you can watch the entire pay-per-view. We watched it here. We watched it for free we have Ring of Honor Honor Club. Hechicero versus Yo Soy Hechicero versus Bandito. 10-star match. Match of the year candidate, hands down. I think it's 1. The only thing would have made it better if it was in the Tokyo Dome. I mean, this match was insane. Brodito and Hechicero have shown me why the two of them are two of my favorite, the best. They're my favorites, 2 of the best in all of wrestling right now. As far as Brodito, this tag team has absolutely no business being this awesome. I cannot believe how hyped I am about Brodito. This is such an it's not even Odd Couple. This is it at first glance, it's a very thrown together. How the heck are they going to have any chemistry? Their stories are so different, and it works. Not only does it work, they work great in tandem. It's a testament. We can go all day long about how awesome Bandito is. We love talking about him. I mean, the dude is a phenom. But Brody King is finally in a tag team in AEW that is clicking. And if you told me that it's not Buddy Matthews and it's not Malachi Black, but it's Bandito is going to be his best tag team partner, I would have laughed. this has been such a joy to watch these two go. And when they won the title, I was shocked, but in a good way. And I love this whole storyline. They work so well together, yet they still are themselves. Like the spot with the Macarena. They did the move, and then Brodito's doing the Macarena, and Brody King looks at him. He's like, "No, I'm not doing that." So there's that. That's the kind of chemistry that I just love when the most unlikely pairings work. Putting Harley Cameron with Mercedes. Now, of course, she's with Statlander. That's just lightning. She's lightning a bottle with anybody. But when AEW sometimes stumble their way into these awesome things, I love it, and it's great. It's taking off, and Brodito is a sensation. I actually hope they don't drop the belts for a while. I actually want to see them get a good, decent run before they lose them. And I don't know if I want them breaking up. Buddy Matthews, I hope you rest well and recover and come back. But I hope you got room for Bandito in whatever the new faction will be when you come back. So great stuff. This match, again, fantastic.
Steven said, who's going to derail Brodito? I mean, it's hard to say who's going to do that, but I could see someone from the Callis family doing that. If you get the Murder Machines back to get the belts, Brian Cage, he hurt his knee in March, so should be due back anytime now. Hopefully, you can have Murder Machines or Wardlow team up with someone, so that the Callis family could be the belt collector family. That I could see for a interim until you switch the belts onto someone such as Cope and Cage, and or Jet Speed, and or the Bucks again, or returning Gun Club. I guess you can see that path with that. But they're putting the tag team titles back on the map for sure.
Absolutely. They are the tag team division right now. Whatever's going on with Hurt Syndicate, I know there's some backstage, what have you, but that's interesting. But I do think that I could see. I think the plan is Cope and Christian, but I hope they maybe they dethrone them soon. But listen here, bitch. There's only one alpha.
He's so funny in such a short amount of time. He just cracks me up every single time. He just impactful. Even if he just says bitch, it's so funny to me for some reason.
Look at Renee's expression.
I know.
But it's been cooking for so long. We all want it so bad. We know it's coming, and I think it's coming. I think it's going to really kick off this Saturday at Collision. We'll talk about our good friend, the match that Mark Briscoe now has, again, getting a victory last night over Murderhawk. But I think Okada is going to cost Takeshita his match on Saturday.
That's what I was saying. I was texting you that. I agree, man. Yep. It's completely. That makes perfect sense because it also will protect Takeshita because obviously he's just having an insane run. And then it would also protect Briscoe, too, to be able to lead to that feud and essentially match path with Fletcher, which will be a lot of fun to watch. So this one, I mean, he called him out. Essentially, he called out Takeshita, even though they are in the same family. So I would love to see Okada and Takeshita go head to head. If that's going to be at All Out for the title or stretch it out a little bit more. Maybe Callis really tries to pair them up, maybe put them together in a tag team or multi-man match and they try to, work out their differences. Or I could see Hangman versus Okada and or Takeshita. So if Okada costs Takeshita his match versus Briscoe, then Takeshita can cost his match versus Hangman or something. And then you have that perfect build for the ultimate head-to-head that we've been salivating for.
Let me tell you what we're about to get, though. Let me tell you what we're about to get.
Bring it.
We're about to get babyface Takeshita. He was already, when he was Cinnabon King, he was already babyface, but he wasn't there yet. He still had baby fat on him. He is now poised to be, I'm going to say a sacrilege, but he's going to kind of be the new Kenny Omega. And we've said that people have made the comparisons. Heck, when he first debuted, when he had the short hair and he debuted on Dark with Kenny, some of us were like, I don't know, we got to look at that genealogy. Did Kenny have a wild night in Tokyo or something on it? Here's what we're going to do. We're going to get Takeshita versus Okada, but how Callis is. Callis has built this Callis family. Okada's just at the top of the mountain. And Fletcher is also one of these guys that we're going to end up seeing Takeshita versus Fletcher at some point. But you know what else we're going to get?
What?
Takeshita versus Wardlow.
Cool.
Takeshita versus Wardlow, because Callis is going to want to hurt Takeshita when he makes the turn. Look what he did to Omega. Look how he has treated those that he's turned against. Callis is going to put him through all the trials of Hercules. He's going to put Takeshita through all these things. Maybe Briscoe's going to try to step in and help him. Maybe Hanger's going to try to stand and help him. But we're going to get at some point Takeshita versus War Dog, and that is going to be a match I didn't think I would say in 2025. We weren't even sure if Wardlow was coming back. We had our fantasy booking of him being with the Hurt Syndicate, which, come on, I'd love to still have that at some point, but whatever. But now that means maybe we'll get Wardlow versus Lashley or Wardlow versus Shelton. But Wardlow versus Takeshita will feed families. And then that's going to be one of those things where it's on the road to Takeshita versus Okada. And I think Takeshita should get the win. Takeshita should get the belt.
If anyone's going to dethrone Okada, it's got to be Takeshita. And it's always fun to have someone. Well, he's going to have Takeshita kind of be outs of the family, and then him have to pay retribution. And you're going to send his henchman and his new henchman Wardlow on him, give him the Powerbomb Symphony through tables and everything. And then Takeshita's ultimately going to get that ultimate payoff by, after going through these tribulations and trials and beatdowns with multiple members of the family, he's going to strip Okada of that unified championship, and it's going to look great on him, and he's going to be an awesome fighting champ, babyface. It's going to look fantastic. So
all the Cinnabon
it's coming. It just let it cook a little bit longer. And there we go. Briscoe coming out looking for a fight. Speaking of this, the lineage that we've been talking about going through the Callis family. Him and Archer did put on an awesome match. I really enjoyed. I was reading that comment. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Did they get married?
Is that the rumor? They kept it quiet. I think I didn't catch it, but I'm surprised.
Yeah, we don't talk about the scumbag on this show. Anyways, speaking of scumbags against him, Briscoe, man, he drops the mohawk. He went back to the shaved head. I love his gear gimmick. I mean, he's been doing that cut off white shirt, but I love this vest and the camo combo. I love that the representation of it. And when Lance came out with his gear on, I was like, oh, there's going to be a fight. There's going to be something, unless he's fighting later on or unannounced. But, it was a great back and forth match and brutal for both guys, really. Yeah. And I got to give props. They did it in the main event and they did it in this match. That overhead cam view, like right over the turnbuckle, was really cool. Really different total perspective of the match, man. What'd you think of this one?
I thought it was fantastic. I mean, again, it was one of those things where I love the subtleties with the Callis family. That here we are. First, he's like, "Okay, you're gonna wrestle Takeshita on Saturday," and then of course Mark goes, "I want to fight right now. I'm gonna came to get down," all that stuff. And at first, it's like, "All right, Rocky Romero, get in there." And I love Rocky, but come on, Rocky Romero versus Mark Briscoe. We know who's going to get the W.
Right.
But Lance Archer going in, it's a different story. I mean that, and kudos to Lance for really, just having Lance another one of those workhorses that just puts on incredible bangers with anybody he gets in there. Now, back when he first started, he was just going through people and just wrecking people. That was one thing. But unlike a Goldberg, Lance Archer plays with his food. When he wrestle a jobber, he just doesn't kill him and then it's done. He'll play with his food. He'll play, and Lance lets them get over. with Mark Briscoe, it really helped him look good. Of course, makes me worry that he's going to lose on Saturday, but I think the storyline is different. But yeah, this persona that Mark Briscoe has become, and I'm not, I don't want to take away from the Briscoe brothers tag team. They were legendary. They're all timers. I do love the evolution of Mark Briscoe as a singles competitor now. He has truly established, like, he's no longer just one of the Briscoe brothers. He is Mark Briscoe. He's kind of established himself as a singles wrestler. And the cutoff leather vest, the camo, it's working. It's who he is. It works. And, you want to root for him. Speculation. I don't know if we want to get to this now because I know we want to talk about the end, but they're setting up All Out. I actually think the move here is when they're gonna kick off this Takeshita Okada feud, and that can start to do that thing. But I actually think Hangman's opponent at All Out should be Mark Briscoe. It doesn't have to be a villain. It could be a match of honor because he has, MJF cheated him out of it. Mark Briscoe's been fighting. He's fighting the Callis family. He's fighting the same people that Hanger is fighting. And it could be one of those things where Hanger's like, listen, you've earned my respect. You've earned you've fought. You've done it the right way. I'm going to give you a shot at the title at All Out. And, it will be Hanger will keep retained, but I think that would not only be a tremendous match, but it would elevate both wrestlers. It would actually elevate them both as baby faces. And of course, what's going to happen is Callis is going to be like, they're going to try to interfere and try to beat up both of them and try to somehow, get Kyle Fletcher involved or get all these people involved. But I think you book Hanger versus Briscoe, and it tells the whole story. It kind of completes that story of you deserve it because you're an honorable wrestler, and I give title shots to people I respect.
I like where Steven's going, as you're saying it. Like, I love that lineage that you're talking about. However, I think I would like. Hangman's got some payback after what happened last night, and he's got to take some retributions. So, for the time being, Briscoe is going to be looking to the Fletcher and TNT title. So I could see that being a match at All Out, and then Hangman potentially having a match with someone of the Fletcher or the Don Callis family at All Out, or some kind of multi-man match there, because I don't think any of those are main event. Hangman, even though the world title should be the main event of everything, but I feel like you got to put the Edge or Cope and Christian match with FTR the main event. To me, that is main event worthy, in my opinion, especially with added stipulations that are going to be coming, which it's going to happen, a TLC match, especially what we're seeing with happening in TNA. I think we'll find out tomorrow what's happening with the Dudleys and the Hardys, what kind of stipulations going to be put on that match, what we're going to rebuttal on. But yeah, I could see, out of respect, after they're done with that, Briscoe getting a title shot, them having a great match, hugging it out, and then get attacked from the Callis family. Then they team up as a tag team to take them on for a little bit and just continue that kind of feud and spiderweb feuds going on, on that. But I know I want to spend some extra time on this one because, speaking of the Callis family, you have Fletcher and Alexander in the Young Bucks versus Team Jet Speed and Omega and Hangman. The Callis family is on fire right now, and I am surprised they're picking up so many W's as of late. Not because of the talent level and all that, but in typical fashion, a lot of times, heels do take some of those losses. But I was pretty shocked at this result, and then even more shocked after the fact. But this match was a close first to second. This was the first match of the night, in my opinion, but that opening match with the TBS title was a close second for sure. Yeah. But I just loved everything about the chemistry with all the guys. Everyone got a chance to shine. They were just all over the place, up, down, all around. and anything in between. What did you think? Early thoughts on this one as it was starting to unfold?
Jeez. First of all, the Young Bucks in this whole fight, no longer EVP Young Bucks is first. It's classic Young Bucks steering into a lot of this stuff. They have made themselves once again such compelling characters. I don't know if they showed some clips on Dynamite, but we saw it on social media that they had this 1999 meet and greet, and they actually did it. It wasn't just a gimmick. They actually did a 1999 meet and greet at like Stucky's Bar or something like that.
I would have done that just for the hell of it.
It was and it was just so like they're playing these like just so boiling underneath, smiling like, "Hey, buddy, thanks for coming," and but underneath they're just like these, it's like the fallen actor that was making billions of dollars in blockbusters and then fell from grace, and now they're at Comic-Con for $20. It's like, it's just it's so just it's just genius, and just this whole match. Again, we can't not highlight Jet Speed. I while it bothers me that they're not getting the wins, but they're in every show, and they are just doing phenomenal things. They're getting their reps in all the time, and they're such a great spectacle to watch. Josh Alexander, he is who he is. He was big time in TNA. He has my respect. His wrestling style isn't quite what I enjoy, but he got another clear victory pin in this, and they're actually helping him look better now with a lot of this stuff. The best villain in this whole thing, though, Kyle Fletcher has truly elevated himself to he almost is like Callus's true son at this point.
Right.
He is the, you don't know what my dad does. He has really elevated himself as he's a new pillar. I think he's going to be one of those. He's going to be, I know it. I hate to continue to use this parallel because I think some of his things are deliberate like this, but he is AEW's Randy Orton. He is, and always and he's going to be one of those in 10, 20 years. He's still going to be that AEW's Randy Orton, the Viper. He's going to be that kind of that villain that's going to show up and win championships. I guarantee we will have world champion Kyle Fletcher within the next 2 years. He will be world champion. I guarantee that. However, moment of the night, because you knew it was coming, because you see it. You are the two people on either side. We had that moment. They had that spot, the elite face-off. You remember Bucks versus Kenny and Hanger when they were for the tag titles. You remember when they were trying to convince Kenny not to beat up Hangman. All the long-term storyline go as far as back as before 2019, before AEW was a thing. And you had the four of them facing off, and it was delicious. It was such a savory moment to see them just go back and forth. I love it. If I could show that photo right here.
Sorry, I hit the wrong button.
It's all good.
I was popping big time at home, cheering. I was like, please, please, please. We were kind of hinting, or we were kind of fantasy booking that we were hoping for the Elite to reunite last night. And I hope so that it's going to happen eventually. Months ago, I was like, please just give us one more Elite run. Give us one more Elite run. Because there needs to be some kind of big-time babyface faction to take on the likes of the Death Riders, takes on the likes of the Don Callis family. So you can only team so many people up, but to have a faction, when we had the Inner Circle versus the Elites, it was so fun. Those, like a strong heel faction that was a true faction and a strong babyface faction that was a true babyface faction. So I would love this to happen. Man, first off, Young Bucks bell to bell. Absolutely insane. So fun to watch. So impressive, as always. These guys are in great shape. These guys are just putting on clinics, putting on insane, awesome matches versus all, whether it be a tag match, multi-man match, and so forth. They ended up getting a roughly a proper entrance last night, which was nice to see. But if you
Arguably.
paid attention
Well,
during the steel cage match, when Osprey was getting beat down, they were kind of MIA, not really helping on the beat down, but also not stopping. And then when you saw the Hangman and Kenny getting beat down, they ironically took jet speed backstage to kind of not associate themselves with this. So there's a lot of conflicting stuff, and I really, really hope when Kenny comes back, and then we can see an elite reformation. That would be full circle for sure. Give us one more elite run, please, please, please. Man, the Young Bucks are just too damn good. They're doing such great work, and I loved it. I loved this moment. This was definitely one of the highlights of the match. Crowd went berserk. You knew we were going to get this because of everyone who was featured in it, but they gave us a slow build to it happening, and the chemistry was there. I mean, because these four guys put on such great matches early on in AEW together.
You know what was great too was they like they planned this out. Everybody tried to do their finisher, including their tag team finishers, and they countered. The other person countered because they know them. That was the whole story. Like they knew when Hanger was going to go for a buckshot. They knew when Kenny was going to go for the one wing angel. When the Bucks were doing super kick, whatever, it was like boom, 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 boom. It was so beautiful to watch this whole exchange, and I hope we continue to get this. I know Kenny's, we're going to be on the men. It sounded like it was scheduled time off. It doesn't sound like it was like an emergency kind of thing, but this was phenomenal, and it's really got it really clicked all the boxes. I know that I know there's some people that they still to this day complain that this kind of wrestling is spot fest, whatever. I know there's some 8-man tag haters out there, but to me, this is popcorn, man. This is what I this is the stuff. This is what I want to see in wrestling, and it was phenomenal. And then the ending with Kyle Fletcher again. Ending the entire thing with the credits, taking out another legend. He took out Adam Cole, took out Dustin Rhodes. Are we adding Kenny to his list in kayfabe?
Right.
Look at him holding Don Callis in his hand, getting ready to
I mean, Fletcher, as you said, he is a pillar of AEW now, and every single week he just gets better and better and better. And getting the time in the spotlight to shine, he is just so fun to watch, so incredible to watch. And you're right, he's going to be a future world champ very, very soon. But the stuff that he does, other than just the wrestling moves, I mean, the way he just, cleaned out the champ and then the former champ Kenny Omega and everything he did. And when he got the blood going, and then there's an awesome photo of him carrying the belt with the blood on his back over his shoulder. I mean, consciously he's probably like, I got to show the blood, but it's like cinema and so good with the stuff he does. But I mean, we can't praise Kyle enough on our show because of the stuff that he's doing. Really, really impressive stuff. The growth has been so quick and great and awesome. What's up, Courtney? Thanks for saying hey and stopping in. Good to see you in the chat. I want to say hey. I
want to make a comment about just touching on what you just said there and what we were both talking about. One of the many things I love about AEW, I say this a lot, but is the true homegrown talent.
Mm-hmm.
And they're allowed to cook. And I'm not saying it's not a bash against WWE, but WWE, they'll have their people that they are going to push as over. AEW, these talent, look who have established themselves as main event talent on their own. Now you could argue Osprey kind of had some buzz before he got here, but his in-ring ability and his likableness got him over.
Right.
Swerve Strickland had to really climb a ladder, but he was very strategic in his storylines and how things went. So and that whole thing with Hangman, I think elevated Swerve to where he belongs. I mean, again, none of these guys don't belong where they are. I mean, Swerve, top 3. Kyle Fletcher has done this. Kyle Fletcher is like, he has the TNT title, but Kyle Fletcher he has got one hand on the rung that's main event. He's like about to pull himself up into main event. He's already kind of doing that. And
I mean, it is main event. He just needs to get that main event pay-per-view.
Yes. I love seeing this kind of stuff. I love seeing these wrestlers grow. There was a time where Darby Allin was just this, daredevil, and he's really been impressive. All these guys, all these wrestlers started out somewhere. But I love that the future of AEW you can kind of see in these guys, and you can see these, Swerve, Ospreay, who they're going to be gone for a while, but look who's rising up in that spot. You got Kyle Fletcher, Takeshita, you got, Hanger is still relatively young compared to some of the other guys, and you've got the talent there that's just sliding right into those spots, and I think it's fantastic. It's great to watch. I mean, it's great to watch them grow.
Spot on. You said it very well said. To piggyback on what we were saying earlier in the main event, our top performers are the Young Bucks. And there's a reason behind that, because bell to bell, these guys brought down the house. Everything from in the ring, out of the ring, storytelling, and everything, all that. No matter who was in the ring, whether it be Jet Speed or Hangman Champ or Omega, these guys were just all over the place. The teamwork, chemistry was there, and that's what one of the huge thing about the Young Bucks. I mean, they're brothers, they're blood brothers. They have this like sixth sense of where they're going to be at in the ring and what move they're going to be doing. They did not miss a beat at all, man. They impressed me as soon as the bell rang and after the bell. It was just such a fun. Again. Yeah, these guys, I know. And even like surprising, like I said earlier in the show, that they actually got a proper intro. So we'll see where that's going to go. So what stood out to you other than what I said for you to get them as your top performers?
Just to highlight, Steven, Windsor was my TP for most of the night until this match. If it wasn't for the main event, it would have been Windsor, but this was just. That it's the Young Bucks playing into their character, their entrance little tag, their nameplate thing said these guys again. It's just the stuff that they're steering into. They're making this whole thing enjoyable. Young Bucks are like Lucha Brothers, where they always reinvent tag team wrestling every match they have. They always do something new. They're always adding something. It's never the same routine. They have the same finishers and such, but it's always different each time. They were a huge part of the enjoyment of this match, playing the heels, and not just their interactions with Hanger and Kenny, but with I almost said Top Flight, with Jet Speed. Yeah, there you go. Freudian slip there. With Jet Speed, their interactions there, and just their reluctance to work with the Callis family, but they're doing it. It's just kind of like, all right, we need the money, we need the thing, or something like that. But this MS Paint, this just low grade, promos and stuff, and just all of this in the 1999 meet and greet. These are the things that just endear me to the Young Bucks. Continue to, and they're just so entertaining. They get it. They killed the business in such a great way. And I think they deserve a double top performer from us, because they are a huge part of why last night's main event was so enjoyable. And yes, honorable mention Windsor. She was phenomenal, but
100%
got to go with the Bucks.
Spot on, man. Loved the way this. Loved and hated the way this ended. Well, actually, I loved it, as now that I'm going to be slowly transitioning into Team Heel with my black shades and everything. If you missed that, but we'll show one more time the standings as we ride up to the sunset.
And I'm going to set the outro video to be our new one.
All right. Steven with a commanding lead running away. Yep, the snake is on the loose. So everyone, awesome. Live Collision on Saturday. So definitely tune in for that. A lot of things are going to pan out. I think we're going to get a few more matches announced for All Out after Collision with some of the things that are going to be happening so far on the show that has been announced. I would love to see Fletcher versus Briscoe announced. I would love to see a Tony Storm match announced, and then that really can be the backbone of the show so far. But awesome stuff. Thank you all for joining us and stopping in and in the chat. We love chatting with you all. Steven's taking that commanding lead, and we'll ride off in the sunset, and we will see you all next week for Dynamite Download, episode 207. Good night, y'all.
Good night. Have a great weekend, everybody.
Dynamite Download.
Welcome to Dynamite Download, your source for positive of all elite.
Big